Good evening, students. Today we are going to watch a video based on the chapter Kabuliwala. Author is Sri Rabindranath Tagore. A few lines about the author. Rabindranath Tagore. In Bengali, it is pronounced as Rabindranath Thakur. He was born on 7th May 1861, Calcutta, which is now Kolkata, India, and died on August 7, 1941 in Calcutta. He was a Bengali poet, short story writer, song composer, playwright, essayist, painter who introduced new prose and verse forms and the use of colloquial language into Bengali literature, thereby freeing it from traditional models based on classical Sanskrit. He was highly influential in introducing Indian culture to the West and vice versa, and he is generally regarded as the outstanding creative artist of early 20th century India. In 1913, he became the first non-European to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature. Now, the plot of the story. The story begins with the narrator introducing his 5-year-old daughter, Minnie. She was a talkative girl and was very difficult to keep her quiet. A Kabuliwala named Rehmat was passing by. He carried a box of grapes in his hand and a large bag slung across his shoulder. Minnie called him, Kabuliwala, ek Kabuliwala. Minnie was first scared of Rehmat, but later on both of them became good friends. Rehmat became a patient listener for Minnie's silly talks. He bribed Minnie with nuts and dry fruits. The rising action now takes place when one day Rehmat was being dragged by two policemen. He had stabbed one of the narrator's neighbor as he had denied taking money as debt from him. Now the following actions begin with Minnie, who saw Rehmat being taken to the prison, which according to her was father-in-law's house. She forgot all about Rehmat as days went by and she grew up and was ready to be married. On the day of her marriage, Rehmat returned from the prison, but the narrator did not recognize him. He was desperate to meet Minnie and had come with a box of nuts and raisins. The narrator tried to pay him in return. Rehmat refused to accept the money. He showed a dirty piece of paper which had an impression of his daughter back in Kabul. The handprint of his daughter reminded him of Minnie. After seeing Minnie in the bridal attire, he realized that his daughter too would have grown up and would not recognize him like Minnie. At this point of time, the narrator handed him money to go back to his country to be reunited with his daughter. So, the climax comes with a happy note that Rehmat goes back to his country to meet his daughter. Children, now the summary of the story. Now, the first person is the narrator of the story, and he has a talkative little girl called Minnie. One day, she sees a Kabuliwala, a merchant from Kabul, in the street and calls out to him. That is the extent of her courage. The moment he turns towards their house, she is alarmed. The speaker buys a few things from the Kabuliwala and the latter offers some gifts to Minnie, but she remains suspicious. Soon, however, Minnie and Rehmat, the Kabuliwala, become great friends, sharing jokes about Rehmat's huge bags and whether or not he will go to his father-in-law's house. The speaker remains an amused witness to their innocent friendship. Then, one day, Rahmat is arrested and imprisoned. He stabbed a man who had denied owing him money. Rahmat goes away. Minnie grows up. She forgets about her old friend, making new ones. After several years, on the morning of her wedding day, Rahmat reappears at the speaker's door. The speaker is at first uneasy with about entertaining a murderer. Before leaving, Rahmat presents some fruits for Mini, the old gift for his old friend. The speaker tries to pay him, but Rahmat stops him, explaining that he has a daughter of his own in Afghanistan. It is because Mini reminds him of her that he brings those gifts. He shows the speaker his treasured possession, the handprint of his baby daughter, taken long ago and carried all these years in his pocket near his heart. The speaker realizes he is talking to a father, not a criminal. He sends for Minnie. The two friends, old friends, meet, but not as before. They can hardly recognize each other. The Kabuliwala attempt at making an old joke does not work. Either too many. Things have changed. Both the fathers realize that the other daughter in the other country has grown up. There too, Rahmat will find things different from how he left them. The speaker gives Rahmat some money and asks him to go and meet his daughter. In his mind, this gesture enhances the beauty of Minnie's wedding celebration. Now, children, we are going to discuss the characters. First, the narrator. He is empathetic as he loves children. Then, he is friendly. He is a friendly to his daughter as well as with the Kabuliwala, and observative. He observes. He is a good observer as he observes, sits and observes the talk that was shared between his daughter and Kabuliwala. Though it was a silly talk, but still he got entertained by that talk. He was conservative in the sense that when Kabuliwala returns on the day of the wedding, he did not want a murderer to be there in the house and create a nuisance among his family members. So he wanted, but at the same time, being empathetic, he did not want to send him back like this. He was ready to pay him some money for the raisins and dry fruits which the Kabuliwala had brought. Dignified and human, this can be known because he in the end he gave him some money and uh, told Kabuliwala to return back to his country to meet his long lost daughter and reunite with her. For this, he had to take some of the marriage festivities had to be curtailed by him because of lack of money, but still he was very happy that at least by heart he has helped another father to reach his daughter. Then, about the Kabuliwala. As you know, he was kind and generous because he gave dry fruits and raisins to Minnie every time. He was empathetic because he always used to sit with Minnie and loved her silly talks. He was a patient listener because whenever Minnie used to ask him questions, he used to answer them, and whatever queries Minnie had in her mind or silly questions, he used to answer them very patiently. And then he was intolerant to abuses because he could not resist a person who owed him money, and at the same time when the person denied, he could not resist and he just stabbed the person. So he was intolerant to abuses and compassionate in the sense that when he came back in the 5 years when he was in prison, he did not forget Minnie, though Minnie forgot him as she grew up, which is natural as a child, but he did not forget her. And when he returned back from the prison, he borrowed some raisins from his old friend and came to meet Minnie first. And in the end, he was thankful to Minnie's father for helping him out with money to reach his own country and to be reunited with his daughter. Minnie. Minnie was naive and innocent. Naive in the sense was inexperienced. You do not know, lack of wisdom. Okay. And innocent. She was a talkative girl because she loved to talk and her mother did not enjoy her talking. But her father always liked her to talk. She was friendly, and in the sense initially she was hesitant to speak to Kabuliwala because of his appearance. But after some time she became quite friendly with him and she enjoyed sitting with him and talking for long hours. She had a weak memory because as she grew up she forgot the relationship that she shared with the Kabuliwala. When Kabuliwala returned back and wanted to see her in her bridal attire, Minnie, and when he put up the same question that are you going to your father-in-law's house, this time Minnie, as she understood the meaning of father-in-law, uh, so she became shy and she did not respond to the funny talks. She was curious to know little bits about why he was being dragged by the police and all. To her, she asked these questions with her father and was inquisitive to know them. Now, in this story, we are dealing with two fathers. Okay, so here are some similarities and differences between the two fathers. Similarities is both are fathers to daughters. Both love Minnie. The narrator's bond with Minnie is that of a father loving his own child, while the Kabuliwala's love for Minnie is a reflection of the love he feels for his own daughter in Afghanistan. The differences that they share is the speaker is a man of commanding respect in the society, an Indian in his own country, whereas Rahmat is a foreigner from Afghanistan. He is a trader selling his wares on the street, and later on he becomes a criminal. Now, the theme of the story is that it depicts different relationships and how they develop over time. And over here, we are talking about Minnie's father and Rahmat. Both of them come from different social backgrounds, okay, and at the same time, both of them share the same kind of love for their daughters.